Hey everyone, it's Mike from Garden Core Living. Today is a cold and windy, but an important day because we're getting ready to move our plant from the house to the greenhouse. And this takes putting in a water line that's 1,500 feet from the lake all the way through. We'll show you as connections, and we got to do some line bleeding with water, and there's a bunch of steps that follow this. First thing we're doing is getting the Honda pump ready to go, and we pump water and into a big reservoir, and then we bring it up top to prime the water line and get most of the air out of it. And my wife and I, we go back and forth and get it figured out. So we'll be doing a little bit of maintenance, getting things ready, and I'll be back with you shortly. Just give me a second here to get this fixed up. To the lake and cut some poly line so I can put a new check valve on, because when I took it out, or this fall, I broke the check valve, so we got to fix it. This is where we put our dock system in. It goes off here. We go out about 100 feet the dock, and we run the water line up along the edge of the dock. But as for right now, we're gonna cut the end off and put a new end down. This is a check valve. There's usually a screen on the end of it, and when the pump pulls, it pulls it in, lets water in, and when it shuts off, it cuts it back off. And this is what I broke, so we're going to put a new one on. So we're going to pull the line up by the side-by-side and work on it up there and get out of the wind. Take these pipe clamps off, because I'll be needing them. Man, is it cold out. We do this every year. It's just a labor of love. It gets done different every year, but it all comes out, works out in the end. Need these pipe clamps. They're stainless steel and they're expensive, so we can save it. A nickel here and a nickel there. We're going to put some Teflon tape, because you can't have any air being sucked in. This is Teflon tape. So this is a check valve. This is a new check valve. Like I showed you down below. Well, this is the one. I broke this off. This is supposed to be on here to stop zebra mussels and things from going in it, sediment, rocks. So I'm going to put this, some Teflon tape, and you have to go the right way with this Teflon tape. If you go backwards the wrong way, it peels it off and it does not seal properly. Trying to make a good seal on it here, so we're gonna that should be good. Okay, now I'm going to grab a end of the pipe and bring it over here so we can put the check valve on. I got some wear marks right here. Grab me that cutter, Kim. That silver handle. Yeah. Maybe split right here. I got a wear mark that was probably in the water last year. And I think it may be split a little bit. If it is, you're going to do all this work and then you're going to notice that it's leaking. Then you got to redo everything all over again. So better safe than sorry. And before you put your end on, you want to make sure you put your clamps on first. I just usually snug them up a little bit so they don't slide down the pipe. So then we use a torch. You just want to heat up the plastic. You don't want to melt it. You just want to make it warm and pliable. So when you slide your check valve on, it slides on. Nice and snug. So it's warm, so I was able to squeeze around. You notice there's ribs on these. When you put it on, it locks in and you don't have any leaks. So after you get that on, put your hose clamps back on. I always like to stagger these a little bit so I know it's like an even pressure. There you have it. This will go in the water, and we're going to submerge it with some cinder blocks, and then we'll attach it to the line up top here. Well, now we're going to attach I'm going to put this through the cinder block and run it out far enough so cinder block's going to keep the water line off the bottom. So it'll suck up sand, and I can't go out deep because the boots are already so deep. The water is about 50 degrees, I think, right now. If that. This is a temporary setup because when we get our docks in, then the line will go out about another 100 feet in deeper water. And it'll be a lot easier. You won't get any sediment. And there, that's going to work just fine. There you go. That part's done. Woo! That's the whole stuff right there. So I have to splice in a piece of line. So I have extra line here. But this end was all ruined, so I couldn't use it again. So I'm going to take this line and walk it back to where I think I need to match up. Right about here is good. So there'll be an end there, and there will be an end here. Okay, then I'm going to attach it. Same method as I did before. 2 clamps. I'm going to join it here, got to warm them up, slide them on. Don't forget to put your clamps on before you connect it, because you can't do it after. So I'm going to do the same thing to this one. I'm going to warm it up, slide it on. Yeah, that should be good. Take that on there. There's a good seam. Now I gotta put that one on. Well, I gotta have pipe clamps. Keeps up so much more. So we're gonna fix that joint right here. Put your ends on. We'll warm it up again. You gotta be very careful. You don't want to get it too soft, because it'll just fold up on you. Okay. Perfect. We do this every year, same way just about. Maybe he's a little snug. This is my son's invention. So we have 3 different sections all the way through this line for 1,500 feet. So what we do is close these off. Close this off. And we'll do that up through the line so we can prime a small section of the line each time to make sure we get all the air out as we move from way up top, which we'll show you, and as we come down to the end of the check valve to eliminate most of the air, so when we turn on the pump we won't start drawing air and lose our prime in the pump. But we'll show you more of that up top. We're doing this tank over and going up full of water, so we're going to go up to the other parts of the garden and send the water back down towards the lake. Fingers are crossed every step. It's closer. And like I said, the reason behind all this is the plants are just about ready to get out of the house. So I got my Honda pump down here, starting the water. Run the garden hose up back into the tank. It's a lot of work, but if you want to have fresh veggies, you got to put the work in. Things just don't happen. You got to put work into it. So once this gets filled, I'll take this pump and I'll bring it up to the garden and I'll put the line that's drawing off the lake in there, and then we'll pump it from there, backfeed it down the line. So it'll take about 15-20 minutes to fill this up. So I'll be back with you later. Just about full where I want to be. I'm going to go down and shut the pump down and get ready to move it up to the garden. So we're headed up to the garden and make a couple stops to make sure that the valves are closed. So we're doing one section at a time. We may lose a little bit in the way, but we're having a laugh. So here's another one of our joints here. I'm going to shut this off. Shut this one off. I'm just going to get my impact and get these a little tight. It's gone through a winter, so you probably need a little there. So we got one more stop, there's one more of these. This is, like I said, was my son's genius idea, and allows us to time a certain amount of pipeline without trying to do the whole thing at once, because we used to do the whole thing at once and it was a pain and the beep. So we're doing it this way now and it works great. This is the last one. We're going to leave this one open and close that blue one off so it won't continue on. So you'll see the air coming out of this here. Just going to check the tension again, make sure everything's good. Last year we had a hole right here. And when you build pressure, it shoots out. There. Here comes the buggy down the road. Everybody's buying side by side. We call them buggies around here. This is Heidi's garden and Nikki's. We got this part right here to clean up yet. Been working on it a couple days. Gotta do some broad forking for the onions. Greenhouse was cleaned up pretty good. So we're getting up to where we're going to go in. So if you can take a look around, you'll see that we're at the garden. And we're going to run this water line in the back. Use the mat. And we're going to put the hose right in the end of this so we can force the water down through. Gonna soften it a little bit. It only needs to go a little bit there. It'll stay. That's all we got to do there. So now I'm going to start the pump, and we're going to go back down to where I left that first junction, and we'll watch, and I'll show you how the air pops through. So we're going to start it up And then we're gonna get in the buggy with my wife. And we are bubbling a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to boogie down with the buggy, get to that first junction, and then I'll probably take a quick peek and see if I have any water spurting up anywhere. The garlic's over here in the side. Carrots are gonna go in over here. Greenhouse, so we call it, starts probably in a week, so we gotta get water. That's the line running through. Goes under the road here. As you see, it comes through. Comes through right under here. Actually, the line is right here. So I'm gonna shut the line off for a second and see if I have any water spurting up. That water's coming from up top. See how it's burping a little bit? That's the air coming out of the line. So we try to wait for a steady flow. And you think it's steady and there's still air. Maybe pretty good. Waiting for the air. Oh. So we're just waiting for the air to start coming through. See, it's still burping. It's coming. Wait for a nice steady stream. Pushing air, remember, all the way. Right now we're about, 800 feet, 900 feet. Once we get a steady stream of water, then we'll know that we got most of the air out. We may have to do it twice. Sometimes we miss a little bit of air, but it's been working out pretty good. It looks like we may have it for this part. Okay, now we're going to head down to the last junction. Last time we had a hole down over here, but I don't see it spraying because of the pressure in the system, and you'll see when they turn it on. Last year we had a leak right where all that brush is down way over by that big tree. It was shooting right straight up in the air, so I didn't see anything. But let's hopefully we have it. The only problem we may have is from here down I don't have, there's air in this line, so the water will only go down so much, and then it's going to stop. So I'm going to have, when I go to draw, I'm going to have some air. Let's see if we can get through it. Always be patient, because when you think you have no air, there's air. I'm going to see if I can get some water down in this pipe, because it's going to push through and it's going to kick some air back. As the water pushes, the air will come back and out. If I can keep that jet pump up there just catching enough. As you're driving along, I'm looking for the water lines in that brush row over to your right. If I see any little streams of water straight in the air, that means I have a hole that froze or a mouse chewed it. I don't see anything, which is good. Path up to the garden. Just put some fresh chips down. Going to shut that pump off. Hopefully I have enough water that I can find the pump. Oh yeah. Okay, now why it's spraying out like that, because there's pressure. So we're gonna lose a little bit of air water that I'm spraying out. Major. Wait, soft enough. Yep. This pipe is what goes into the pump. So we're going to go inside and prime it. So this is the pump. And we're going to put some water in here. And we're going to turn it on, and usually the tool will do it, but things are going too good right now. Well, still a gamble for this. Go in and create some magic. So we dump some water and fill up the reservoir, helps prime it. It's pressure gauge that we're gonna clean off and put it in the top again. With that wind on the dirt, that wind doesn't let up. It's been blowing for the last 2 weeks, it seems like. Put some Teflon tape on it. So screw it in on the top here. There it is. Always keep your tools on the ground, you'll always find them. Oh, that's frozen. Take that back and leave them on the ground. Tightening this up somewhat tight so we don't have any air growing. Okay, let's see what we got. Now we're opening this valve slowly. You hear the pump grabbing. Out of here, pushing out the air out of this tank. I just want to keep a somewhat of a steady flow. Trying to build pressure. It's holding right now. It's holding at 50 pounds, just about. So it's pulling. If that drops down to 0, that means it's not pulling. So that's why I'm only opening it a little bit. So I'm creating more suction. I don't want it to shut off, but I want it to keep pulling. Right now it's pulling 1,500 feet from the lake all the way up through this way. And there's a chunk of air, like I told you in the very beginning, from the check valve to that first joint that we did. And if I can get past that, then we'd be good. But like I said, this has been easier. Like I said, my son came up with that little but great idea to break the zones down into 3 sections so we can work and getting air out of 3 sections instead of one whole line at 1,500 feet. Right now things are looking good, but knock on wood. A long way to go yet, I think, but as that water is pulling, that space that's down by the lake that we left, about 40 feet, it'll move towards this pump and filling the back of it behind it. So if we end up with an air problem, it'll be close by here, and we may be able to keep priming it and pull that little section of air through, or it may stay. It may hold. As you hear it, when you hear that little burping noise there, that's air coming out of the line. And to bring up something in the past, this little stand right here, as you see these 3 steps, we had that out by the road when we first came in, I don't know, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years ago. And we had the garden wasn't as big up here, of course. And we had 10 zucchinis, 10 cucumbers, a handful of tomatoes. We had a little on your honor system jar out there. And then every year we got big. Then I built another greenhouse. Then I tilled more land, more tomatoes. And now I think we are a staple in the community of having very good vegetables, clean vegetables. And now we've gotten, oh yeah, and everything that we grow here, we start by seed. As you've seen some of the videos, our tomatoes and peppers and some things in the house. But then when we get to the greenhouse, then we'll work on the cucumbers and the winter squashes and zucchinis and summer squash. And those won't take long to germinate, but the peppers and tomatoes do. We're going to let it run. I want to make sure that it pulls all the way through. If I was a mathematician, I could probably figure out the volume of the length of line by the diameter of the line and how many gallons it is and how long it takes to pull it through, but I'm not, so we're just gonna go by intuition. You'll notice that gauge is dropping a little bit. I think that air is just about arriving. And we're hoping that it'll pull through it. And listen to the pump, makes a little different noise. Oh, and while we're talking, I said, if you haven't noticed, I have on a Veggie Boys shirt. We happened to stop by there and talk to Andrew, and those people are the hardest working people in the world, and we actually bought a sweatshirt, and I wear it proudly, and like I said, they're phenomenal growers, and I've learned a lot from them. So now we're dealing with the air, nothing. See it? Pulling through the air, coming from the lake. Staying. Come on, baby. Enough water mixed in the line that it's staying. Like I said, it's pulled it up this far, it's made it to here. Sounds like a beast, but tells me that we're at the beginning of the 1,500 feet. I know it may seem boring to watch the gauge go up and down, but I can't tell you how important it is for us to have that thing take hold. The 1-horse jet pump is what we're using. So I just shut the water off to the pressure tank because I think that we got most of the air out. So now I'm opening up the valve wide open. So now it's going to fill up that tank. And when that tank's full, pressure will go back to the switch and it should shut off at, I think I got 50 pounds it'll shut off, 52 pounds. It'll take a second yet, but I'll get there. Thank everybody out there that likes and subscribe because you brought me some good luck. You've been to play this tape 3 or 4 times, and my wife brought me good luck. She's the one behind the camera. So we're gonna need everybody here next year again.